Shalom. In this video, I want to talk about punishments and how it is possible not to make punishments with children and do other things instead. And I want to enlarge on this. My name is Miri Rai. I am a drama therapist for quite a few years, and I also do counselling for parents. And I feel that I've got a lot of experience in this subject, and I seem to be repeating myself to different parents and telling them to do the same sort of thing, and they do what I'm advising them to do, and then things really do make, they can make big changes in their household. So the first chapter that I'm giving you now, it's about punishments. And I would like to say that punishments, a lot of parents do this. Sometimes they do it, they don't really want to punish, and they go on and on and on, and all of a sudden they do a punishment. And I'll give you a couple of examples. For instance, if a child is disobedient and doesn't do as you want it to do, and talks back or does something that crosses what I call the red line, in your opinion, then a lot of parents they say to the kid, "Okay, go to your room and calm down," and that's the punishment, okay? And or else they might say something like, "Okay, if you don't do this, if you don't pick up your toys or tidy your room, then I'm not going to take you to wherever you want to go, to chaptaer, to your friends. I won't drive you there," or something like that. That's also a punishment. If you don't do this, I won't do that. If you don't do this, then you won't get a pocket money or something like that. And those two examples are punishments. Now, what happens when a child is punished is that I believe it doesn't help for future incidences. What happens is that the parent is being forceful in some way or other, and the child feels that he's not being understood, he's being rejected, he's getting angrier, even that the parent is going to punish him, and so it's like strength against strength, because the kid can get back at you in other ways. I believe it's possible to change it. It's possible to get a child to understand that he is responsible for his behavior, and that his behavior at that moment is not acceptable at all to the parent. So I'm suggesting a few things. First of all, let's take the example of talking back, or a kid saying, "I don't want to," or something like that. So let's say the child says, "I don't want to tidy up my room. Or let's say, I don't want to pick up my toys," or whatever. "I don't want to." Doesn't matter what the situation is. Or else maybe he's quarreled with his siblings, and father says, "Come here. You have to come here." And so he goes there, and father says, "Now you go to your room and don't talk back to me," and stuff like that. So instead of that, I'm suggesting that father will say, "I don't want you to talk like that to me. No way you're going to talk like that." And also to follow it up with a gesture. "No way, I don't agree. You're not to talk like that to me. No way." Like to make a gesture instead of giving a whole speech. Because often when we give a long speech, children, it goes in one ear, it goes out the other, and they're not even listening. And it's better to talk in like a mantra to get your message across. For instance, like I just said, I won't be talked to like this. That means you're giving your feelings to the child. Father is giving his feelings to the child. He hasn't said, go to your room to calm down. Before, he's got to say what the talk back has done to him. I don't agree that you've got to talk to me like that. You understand? That there's something different. It's completely different than straight away giving the punishment. Let's say he does give the punishment. Okay, I'm not agreeing with punishment, but I think it should be strong enough that the father will say, I won't be talked to like that. You're not going to talk to me like that. Or make a sign, some sort of gesture, because the gesture is just as strong as what he's saying. Even to look at him, and maybe a glaring mode, for instance, or you're not going to talk to me like that. Say what you feel. That's fine. Say what you feel. The message gets across like that. That's number one. Number two about punishments is how to get the child to be responsible for himself. To talk in a different way, to make a switch. For instance, to say something like this. Let's say the toys are on the floor. He's 5 years old. He doesn't want to pick them up. Let's just say an example. Pick up the toys. No, I don't want to. I didn't play with them. Pick up the toys. No, I don't want to. He should do it. Then what do we do here? We have to make clear to the child that it is his responsibility to pick up the toys. So how are we going to do it? Let's say, for instance, father would say, or take mother maybe, okay, here's mum. Maybe she's going to say, look, the toys are on the floor. I'm in charge of making supper. I'm in charge of giving everybody their showers, keeping the house clean. What are you in charge of? The point I'm trying to make is to get him to understand that it is his responsibility to pick up the toys. Because if she says to him, pick up the toys, she's telling him what to do. And I want him to know what to do all by himself without her telling him. So she's got to change the mode of her way she's talking. So I think she should say to him, instead of pick up the toys at once, instead of that, she's putting herself into a niche of being overpowering, and then he'll be overpowering on her. She's putting herself into not a good situation. Instead of that, I think she should say something like I just was saying before, I do this and I do that. I take you to school. I take you to your friends sometimes. That's my job in the house. What's your job? So he has to understand that he's also got jobs to do. He also has the responsibility of doing something. It's not his job to go shopping. It's not his job to put the food on the table. But he has other jobs. He does have a job. And his job actually is to be a good boy. That's all he's got to do. He's got to be good. That's his job in life. And we have to get that across to him in some way or other. We have to get him to understand that it's his job to be a good boy, to keep to the rules of the house. What are the rules of the house? It has to be clear. And so what I'm saying, instead of telling him what to do and organizing his life, I want to get to the situation where he's organizing himself and he knows very well he's supposed to pick up the toys. I had some parents in my clinic last week, and I said to them, okay, how are you going to do this? And she says to me, I don't know. I just have lost it. I don't know what to do every time We have arguments about this. So I said to her, okay, you know what? Have you got a cousin his age? And she said, yes, my sister's children are his age. So I said, okay, you know what? Ring up your sister and ask to speak to Ron, the cousin. And I said, okay, pick up the phone, put the phone on loudspeaker and say, hello, Ron. Before you go to bed, tell me, do you pick up your toys? So let's hope that Ron will say, yes, I do. And we want him to listen. We want him to hear that other kids do pick up their toys. What I want to do actually is to get him to say, no, Emma, don't ring up my cousin. Because he knows the answer. He knows that Ron does pick up his toys. And so he's also supposed to pick up the toys. And he doesn't want to be ashamed. So in that case, Emma can say, okay, I'm not going to ring him up because you know the answer. So let's not ring up your cousin and ask him if he picks up his toy. Okay, so what have you got to do? What do you have to do now? I've got to pick up my toys. That's what I hope will happen. It does happen if you're very clear about what you want. Okay, so my message is mainly, instead of punishment, to get the child to be responsible for his own actions. That's what I really want to say. And that's the point of this video. And I hope it was helpful to you, because once this message gets across, life can get a lot better and easier, with a lot less of this going on, and a lot more of this connection. I hope you found this useful. I'll be happy to get some feedback if you did.